Hey my witches, I'm back today to talk about Strega, both the fashion and the form of witchcraft. So I wanted to show you my sort of witchy top today. I got this Maleficent. I found it when I was bargain hunting and I couldn't believe it, and I was like, awesome, Maleficent. So I totally went for it. Anyway, just thought I'd show that off. But anyway, I was going to talk about Strega fashion because there's this term going around called Strega, which basically it's the Italian word for witch, and it's all about dressing witchy. And where this came from was it actually has origins in Japanese fashion. There's a type of fashion called mori girl, and mori means forest in Japanese. And the style of mori has a lot of rules to it, but basically it's about dressing like you came out of a forest. And it has a lot of cream colors and browns and greens, and you wear like sweaters and dress like skirts with other skirts underneath, so you look like you're in layers. It has kind of fairy tale themes, usually have, you know, sort of like pink and cream color type makeup, very feminine. And then an offshoot of that was dark mori, so you look like you came out of the dark part of the forest, or you look like you're the darker part of the fairy tale. And so the colors in that scheme were more, you know, blacks and dark grays and dark greens and things like that. However, mori fashion has a lot of rules, as a lot of Japanese street fashion does. And so there were people who were looking at the fashion saying, hey, I like that, or I like elements of it, but it's not strictly mori. So what word are we going to call this? And so a couple of years ago, I think it was, someone had come up with the name Strega, which is Italian word for witch, saying that Strega is really all about just dressing in a way that makes you feel witchy. And so there are no rules to it. It's no one can say that's not Strega to you. It's about what makes you feel witchy and empowered. So Strega fashion, though, if you look up on Tumblr and you Google it and things like that, you will find some common elements that a lot of people use. So there is sort of people who lean towards the more mori end of things, where there were a lot of shawls, fringes, layers, a lot of long flowing dresses, and lots of elements of nature, things like feathers and bones and crystals and things like that. And then there's people who lean more towards what's sometimes called a city witch style, which tends to have more clean sort of A-line dresses. We've seen the black floppy hats are very popular. And sort of has more of like a, I would say, like Coven horror story sort of look to it. So what Strega is, like it means witch, and so it's whatever brings out your inner witch. You know, occult symbolism, another one that's been really popular as well on things. So it doesn't mean that you have to be Wiccan or a witch or practice the Italian version of Strega, which is the old Italian form of witchcraft. It just means that if you like that fashion, then, you know, you can dress that way. So, you know, there's people I know who are interested in that fashion that are Christian. They're not interested in witchcraft at all, but that's okay. It's just a fashion. Now, there is some controversy around the word because there is an Italian form of witchcraft, traditional form called Strega, sometimes it's called, which is its own specific witchcraft tradition. And some people don't like that the fashion is called Strega. However, it's just the word witch. You could just easily say it's witch fashion, or use the Spanish word bruja or whatever. It just means witch fashion. So I personally don't have a problem with it. And so I started a group on Facebook. If you want to join, please feel free to go ahead, called Strega Sisters. I'll put a link below to the Facebook group. And it's for anyone that's interested in the fashion or in just witchy things in general. If you're not into the fashion, but you want to talk about witchcraft, you want to talk about even Italian witchcraft, you're welcome. Any kind of witchy things, you're into tarot, please come aboard. Or if you're not into that at all and you're just into the fashion, please come and join. It's just for anyone that's interested in that kind of stuff. However, I made the group, and some people did start talking about how, you know, they're interested in learning the Italian version of witchcraft or the Italian tradition. I pulled out a book that I have that I bought a long time ago, and I didn't, you know, it's one of those books you buy and then you kind of put aside. But then I was thinking, like, wait a minute, I actually have a book about this. So it is called Hereditary Witchcraft by Raven Grimassi, and it's from his family, his or her. I never sure if Raven Grimassi's male or female, which is terrible. It just says Raven. It doesn't say, oh, his writings. I thought it was a man. It's a man. Okay, I'm right. And so it's, he was raised in that tradition, and so it's about his view on the tradition. Now, this is an old book. It was came out in 1999, So, and I know some people like his work and some don't. So if you have this book or you know about this book, please let me know. But I was thinking of maybe going through this and just kind of studying it and seeing what I think about it, because it is something I'm kind of interested in. And so, you know, let me know what you think. Also, I wrote a blog post about the fashion aspects of it. If you want to, you know, talk about, if you want to read about that, about Strega fashion, then I'll put my link to the blog below. But I'm also going to be blogging about kind of the spiritual aspect of it as well. So if you're interested at all, join the group, feel free. And it's called Strega Sisters. However, if you're male, please feel free to join. You can be an honorary sister, it's all good. You know, just anyone that's interested in that kind of stuff. I just kind of feel like there has been a lot of interest in it, but there's not a ton of resources about it. So I think, you know, if we're all learn together, then that's pretty awesome. So anyway, that's what I think. I'm gonna start looking at this book and go through it. It's kind of interesting because it has talks about the old religion and medieval influences, talks about Italian folk magic, rituals, talks about different, it has like sort of Sabbath rituals you can do, and there's all sorts. I was looking through, they have knot magic, talk a little bit about palmistry. There were sigils in here as well. Sigils, I never know how to say that. And we have some sort of Roman and Greek imagery here. Also, too, I think what spurred this on as well is I got the deck, the Gospel of Irradiance, started reading a little bit more about that and started to get interested in that. It's a wonderful sort of witchy Strega type deck. There it is there, as in Strega, the Italian version. And so I'm kind of curious and interested to learn a little bit more. So if you want to join me on this journey, then please feel free. If you're not interested, that's okay. You can skip ahead and watch other videos. It's all good. All right, I hope everyone's having a wonderful weekend, and I will talk to you later.